At this point, we can treat it as confirmed that the virus is spreading to more than 10 more countries. Right now, there is a cruise ship anchored off the coast of West Africa. 3 people have perished. 149 people from 23 different countries are stranded. And this cruise ship is sitting in the water like a ghost ship and can't leave. It seems like we just got over the PTSD from the COVID virus, and now there's a brand new virus out there and it is scary. This is the Hantavirus. The MV Hondius is a Dutch-flagged 107-meter long exploration cruise ship operated by ocean-wide expeditions, carrying up to 170 passengers in 80 cabins plus 57 crew, 13 guides and 1 doctor. It departed southern Argentina on March 20th for an Antarctic nature expedition. Everything started off kind of normal, but after a few weeks between April 6th and April 20th, people started getting sick, but the ship kept sailing. The symptoms started simple with fever, muscle aches, nausea, but rapidly progressed to pneumonia and acute respiratory distress syndrome. And by the time anybody raised alarms, the ship was already crossing the Atlantic towards Cape Verde. And here's the scary part. People were already sick for 22 days before anybody notified the WHO. We actually have a video from a passenger on board the ship, so let's quickly tune into that and take a look at that.
I normally wouldn't make a video like this, but I feel like I need to say something, so I wrote a few things down. I am currently on board the MV Hondius, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people. People with families, with lives, with people waiting for us at home. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part. All we want right now is to feel safe, to have clarity, and to get home. So if you're seeing coverage about this, just remember that there are real people behind it, and that this isn't something happening somewhere far away. It's happening to us right now. I'll share more when I can, but for now, I just ask for your kindness and understanding. Thank you.
Wow, some very dramatic scenes there, and it really reminds me of the time, COVID, when many people were stuck somewhere in another country during traveling. Happened to me. I was stranded on an island far away from my home, and I had to spend several months there. If you're new around here, my name is Mike. I'm a travel, food and lifestyle vlogger. I've been doing this for the past 10 years, and I started making a habit of sharing some very critical travel information with you on this channel as well. So if you like to travel, or if you have a trip coming up and you want to be informed, subscribe right now. And here's what we learned just this morning that makes this even more alarming. Investigators searched the entire ship. They checked every corner, every storage room, every supply hold. They found 0 rats. No rodents anywhere on board. So if this isn't coming from rats, how is it spreading between people? That is the question the WHO is now asking, and right now they don't have a definitive answer. But what is the Hantavirus and how did it get onto a cruise ship? Well, the Hantavirus is primarily spread through rat urine and droppings. It's actually mostly spread by breathing in contaminated dust. And it definitely usually isn't spread from person to person. The WHO actually classifies the global risk as low. However, a specific strain called the Andes virus, found in South America where the ship departed, has shown limited human-to-human transmission in previous outbreaks. Symptoms start like a simple flu, a cough, muscle aches, fever, but it can progress very rapidly and start to fill your lungs with fluid, and that can kill you within days. As of May 4th, 7 cases have been detected or suspected. 2 have already been confirmed by a laboratory, 3 have perished, and 1 person is in Johannesburg in an ICU right now. But the question is, how does a rodent-borne virus end up on an expedition cruise ship in the middle of the Atlantic? The answer? Investigators think that contaminated supplies were loaded into the ship from in Argentina, where the Hantavirus is actually endemic. And the ship must have carried those supplies for weeks before anyone got sick. But as of this morning, the WHO has updated their assessment. The epidemiological links between cases now strongly suggest human-to-human transmission is occurring on the ship.
This is the Andes virus strain, and there's precedence for this. A 2025 study of a previous Argentine outbreak found that this specific strain had, quote, significant capacity for sustained transmission among humans, necessitating quarantine measures. This is no longer just a rodent story. And this situation has changed overnight. The ship is no longer anchored off Cape Verde. Spain has agreed to allow the MV Hondius to dock in Canary Islands. It's sailing there now and is expected to arrive within the next few days. And this is where it gets truly concerning. Once those 149 passengers from 23 countries disembark, they will board flights home to the US, to the UK, Canada, Germany, the Philippines, every single one of them carrying a 45-day monitoring window. The WHO has told all passengers to watch yourself for symptoms for 45 days after you leave that ship. But is this enough?
The situation right now is actually wild. The ship is anchored off the coast of Praia, which is Cape Verde's capital city. A 70-year-old Dutchman and his 69-year-old wife have already perished from this virus. She made it to a hospital in Kempton Park, but didn't survive. And another 69-year-old passenger from the UK is currently in an ICU in Johannesburg. 19 British passengers and 4 British crew members currently are still on board, and 2 crew members are now also showing symptoms. The Dutch authorities have already agreed to repatriate 2 of the passengers that have started to show symptoms, and the majority of the crew members on board, 38 to be precise, are Filipino. But just crazy to think, if you are on the ship, I mean, an Antarctic expedition is one of those lifetime experiences that you want to have, and then you go on this expedition and exactly on that ship this hantavirus breaks out, and it just kind of is scary to think that this is something that could go global very, very fast. Now, this is the truly scary part. Over 120 luxury cruise liners carrying up to 350,000 passengers travel through Argentina, anchor in Argentina, where this virus and that specific strain are both endemic. So this carries the risk of a global pandemic. It could break out very fast. It could multiply very, very fast.
Meanwhile, Oceanwide Expeditions, the operator of the cruise ship, posted an update on Facebook. They said the hantavirus has not currently been confirmed in the 2 persons still on board who require medical care, nor has it been established that the virus is connected to the 3 deaths associated with this voyage. This is a stark contrast to what the WHO said with actually confirming the hantavirus in laboratory results.
So what does this mean for you as a traveler? If you have a cruise booked this year, you might want to check if your cruise ship departs from or travels through Argentina before your actual cruise. Expeditions and adventure cruises are especially at risk because the health checks are usually reduced, and especially if these are trips going to the Antarctic, they will land in Argentina or get some more supplies in Argentina where this virus is endemic. Now, one thing that you have to have if you're going on a trip in today's day and age is a travel insurance. I've linked my favorite travel insurance in the description box down below so you can check it out. And if you have been on a recent cruise, you might want to check if your ship did land or depart or travel through Argentina, especially if you're having any symptoms right now. Speak to a health professional, get yourself checked out, and practice proper hygiene with washing your hands and everything that we did actually learn during COVID. There has been some more breaking news in the past few hours about the hantavirus, and at this point we can almost treat it as confirmed that the virus is spreading to more than 10 more countries. The Spanish government just announced that they are going to allow the ship to disembark at the Canary Islands, and right now the cruise ship is on its way there and will be landing in the Canary Islands in the next few hours. There's been some more breaking news. The WHO has undertaken inspections on board the ship, and they found 0 rats, which means it is more or less confirmed that this is the Andes strain of the hantavirus, which is the strain that allows for human-to-human transmission. More breaking news, which is actually unbelievable. One of the passengers that had been showing symptoms and has been confirmed to have had the hantavirus and actually passed away from the virus was aboard an aeroplane with 88 separate passengers traveling to Johannesburg. And right now, health authorities are scrambling to do contact tracing, figure out who exactly
are these 88 other passengers? Who did these 88 passengers have contact with? Are any of them showing symptoms? And also, which people did this infected passenger have contact with at the departure airport and the arrival airport? This news is absolutely insane, and it looks like we have another pandemic looming above us. It is unclear why the Spanish authorities are allowing the passengers aboard the cruise ship to disembark in Spain, considering that these passengers are from several different countries like what was the countries? Ukraine, Netherlands, Philippines, Poland, UK, Germany, and many more. Also, a lot of crew members from India. So this virus will have the capability of spreading to so many more locations and so many more destinations. And considering that it takes up to 45 days for the first symptoms to show, this virus might be an absolute catastrophe. Not to mention the mortality rate of 40%. This is absolutely insane. I'll keep you guys up to date with any more information that comes out. This is literally the last breaking news that just came out in the past few hours, and it is honestly quite shocking that after we've gone through a devastating pandemic between 2020, I believe it was, and 2023, it's unbelievable that we would be not taking more precautions with these passengers. Of course, you have to consider the human aspect of it, but I think a quarantine for at least 45 days should be mandatory, plus PCR testing, as we learned is very important during the last pandemic. Anyway, I'll keep you guys up to date if any more breaking news comes out. Stay safe. If you have been traveling around South Africa, if you've been potentially in contact with passengers of cruise ships from Argentina, please take the necessary precautions. See you guys next time. Bye-bye. So the WHO right now says the risk is low, but I can't help to think of how scary this is and how it kind of compares with COVID, especially in the first few days. There was this virus. We didn't know a lot about it. There was a lot going on around that. And at first, motion was very slow, but it really escalated very, very fast, and things changed rapidly. And before we knew it, we were stuck in a lockdown. We were stuck in places that we didn't call home at the time. It was a very chaotic situation. So just be prepared for whatever might come. Get your ducks in a row, especially if you're planning on traveling. And right now, travel already is a high-risk thing, because if you think of what's going on in the Middle East, you think about the oil crisis. Europe is very close to running out of jet fuel. In Asia, a lot of places have already run out of fuel. So this is a very, very high-pressure, stressful situation. Be prepared if you're planning on traveling soon. If you enjoyed this video and there was useful information for you in it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. Stay safe out there if you are traveling, and I will see you guys next time.